Hello and welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Ian Kavat. Former Chinese tycoon and gambling kingpin She Zhijiang is fighting deportation from Thailand, where he's been locked up in a Bangkok jail since August 2022. In September 2024, he told Al Jazeera that he is in fact a Chinese spy. She claimed he was recruited in 2016 in the Philippines and that former mayor of Bamban City, Alice Guo, is also a Chinese spy. Risa Hontiveros, who is leading the investigation into Guo, wants to speak to She, saying he may hold information on another suspected Chinese spy in the Philippines, Michael Yang. Beijing, meanwhile, blames the allegations on, quote, false narratives and anti-China sentiments. How deep is Chinese infiltration in the Philippines, and what does it say about Beijing's global intentions? With us to discuss this are Liu Dehai, National Zhengzhi University College of International Affairs Adjunct Distinguished Professor, and Patrick Dave Bugarin, Philippine International Studies Organization Vice President for Linkages. A very warm welcome to both of you on the show today. She Zhijiang, who also goes by the aliases of Tang Kuang Kai, She Ling Kai and Dylan She, is the owner of Yatai International Holding Group, a company based in Myanmar that has been flagged by global anti-crime organizations for running a massive human trafficking and cyber fraud network. She was under international arrest or warrant and subject to an Interpol red notice instigated by Beijing for his online gambling operations. Gambling is illegal in China. So, Patrick, who is She Zhijiang and what is the connection to the Philippines?
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Ian. I would like to highlight a UNODC report saying that he was investing so much in the Philippines. Pretty much his area of operations is in Southeast Asia. And here, where you could see his travel records, prove that he has been in and out of the country.
Professor Liu, what else do we know about his involvement in the Philippines? What was he doing there?
Actually, when it comes to those intelligence agencies, most of the countries, they all have this kind of intelligence units in their overseas embassies. Normally, they can divide it into two parts. Formal agents and informal agents. Formal agents means you need to inform the local authorities. Who are those people? And then informal one, that means secret agents, undercover. So we also need to know those intelligence. Their job is to recruit local residents as well as expatriates in order to serve as their informants to facilitate their information gathering activities.
So this is for espionage for the CCP?
I mean, all countries all like this way. But in this case, I believe this guy must be an informant rather than a formal spy. Normally formal spy, they will never or rarely claim themselves are agents. Right. But those informants, because they join a group for money or whatever, nobody's money. In that case, they don't care. They just disclose, and then they perhaps they will be able to allow to reduce the penalties.
He wanted to be a businessman rather than, obviously, a spy or an informant. He was, Patrick, involved in investing in these Philippine offshore gambling operations, or POGOs.
That is right.
Yeah. And significant investment as a businessman.
That is right. That is what our records would show. Specifically, according to that UNODC report, that he has been investing in the Philippines. And so we can say that he has been very active in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, She told Al Jazeera that China's Ministry of State Security, or MSS, approached him in 2016 to recruit him as a spy, offering him immunity from his charges of illegal gambling. During Xi Jinping's visit to the Philippines in 2018, She Zhijiang was also invited to participate in the state banquet held by Manila and even appeared on the cover of Chinese publications as a successful businessman. And yet, by 2022, it appears that that Beijing was determined to capture She. Take a look.
中国公安机关坚决依法打击各类跨国犯罪活动，不管犯罪嫌疑人逃到天涯海角，中方都会与有关国家开展执法合作，将其绳之以法。在此，我们正告跨境赌博相关的犯罪嫌疑人，立即停止违法犯罪活动，主动回国投案自首，争取宽大处理。如果拒绝投案自首，积极实施犯罪，必将受到法律的严惩。
So what went wrong? What was it that went wrong with the relationship with Beijing?
I think it's a classic case of insubordination. If you would like to follow his narrative on the documentary, it was said that around 2020, when he was requested to go to Taiwan, to start United Front activities, and then he refused to do that exactly. And I guess that's where, if you would follow his narrative, that's where the falling out started.
Right.
And
why do you think he didn't want to obey the CCP?
I am not quite sure, but I'm thinking maybe he got too complacent, or at least enjoying whatever he is having right now in Myanmar. In a documentary, you would see that he is treated really as a huge personality there, like a superstar. And in a place like that, I would wonder why you wouldn't want to be staying there.
Right. He didn't want to just uproot up sticks
right.
and move to Taiwan. Professor Liu, do you believe that She's story is believable?
Yeah, just Patrick already mentioned that actually his statement just proved She could be an informant. Why is that so? Because if he were formal spy, he had no choice to say no. I said yes. Okay. Since he can say no, that means he's kind of not the formal one. He just recruited for providing some information. That's it.
But do you think that Beijing's narrative could be correct, that he's actually just a criminal that they want to serve justice?
When they recruit those informants, they can come from all walks of life from that particular country. So no matter it's illegal or legal activities, they don't care. They only need information. That's the most important, valuable information.
Okay. Now, in the Al Jazeera documentary that we've mentioned, She identifies Alice Guo as a spy working for China's MSS, like himself. Here's a photo of her ID that She had in his files, shown to Al Jazeera. It's the Chinese ID of a Chinese woman by the name of Guo Huaping, born in 1990. Now, She's paperwork lists Guo's place of birth as China, her address as Fujian province, and her mother as Lin Wei-yi. In a Manila hearing of the House of Representatives, Guo denied she was a spy or of knowing She. When asked why he would implicate Guo if not true, she replied, perhaps he wants to exploit her case for more media attention. Patrick, so how does it benefit She to implicate Guo if it's not true?
I am thinking because he is trying to fight extradition. He would like to show himself as something of value to the Filipino people. And therefore, maybe wishfully thinking that he would be extradited to the Philippines. We do have mechanisms in ASEAN, more so now that we are in the verge of integration, but that is yet to be tested, if I may. But I'm thinking he is using this for that reason.
So you actually don't believe that she works for the MSS?
There's no concrete evidence that links Guo Huaping as, right now, there's no concrete evidence, and these things really need to be corroborated, and it takes time, if I may.
Is there ever any evidence that somebody works for MSS?
I think there was one case, it's Stephen Song, a media personality whom they are claiming to have established a network, a wide network back home. But it's very difficult. A lot of these are left as allegations.
Right. Professor Liu, what's your view of this?
Yeah, I think, if they were secret agents, normally they are very professional. That means you have no trace to find out to prove they are agents. All right? So that is why, they will never admit I'm an agent. So this case, I think that one we just mentioned, our Mr. Sir, he could be an informant. We don't know about Miss Guo.
What do you think about him holding her ID? He also had paperwork, which he claimed was MSS background on her, saying that she was from Fujian province. Al Jazeera went to, the address that was listed. It was a CCP office. They spoke to locals there who recognized Guo Huaping, said that she was the daughter of Lin, Nin Wen-yi.
So obviously they have a very intimate relationship, such as Miss Guo could invest a lot of money in his illegal activities, gambling or something, or other business operation. So in that case, they needed to get her ID in order to get the money or to receive the money. Many reasons. So if she were a secret agent, she would not offer that ID to him as well. So this is I don't know, but I just look at this from our conventional knowledge.
Right. So you're saying that there are some holes in the evidence there. Yeah. Okay. Now, She's cellmate in Bangkok, Wang Fugui, said he was entrusted by She to some of She's files after Wang's release. He also made the same claim that Guo is a spy. Take a look.
郭华平并不是什么特殊的，只是正好有一份他的国安背景的资料在里面。他的情况和佘志良先生有很多相似的点。
That was an interview Wang gave to Philippine Senator Risa Hontiveros' office. Hontiveros is leading the investigation into Alice Guo and said Wang's interview alleged that there is a direct correlation between pogos and Chinese espionage. He said, of course, there is a correlation. It has a lot to do with the Chinese government's exuberant intelligence. There's also the fact that all of this is totally connected to the Belt and Road, which is also just part of a huge united front and intelligence strategic plan for the whole world, including foreign colonization tactics. So, Patrick, let me come to you. How much of this can we believe?
It's an interesting organization. Even Senator Hontiveros is treading lightly. She is, I think in one of the interviews, she said that we are not trying to excuse them from their wrongdoings. We have to take into consideration.
Them as in them?
Them as in Wang and She.
And She, right.
Because you see, it's important to remember that they are still, in a way, a link with this criminal activities. In the first place,
Wang served 1.5 years in prison
right.
alongside She.
Right, and with these things, I think it's important for us to maintain a skeptical attitude because that is our first line of defense. And I think whether they mix these things with some truth, if they're trying to bring up lies, if I may, these remain as lies. And they should give us probably something more than just fillers, if they would like us to believe them.
Okay. Professor Liu, so the allegation about pogos connected to espionage, perhaps this is not that explosive, in the words of the Al Jazeera documentary, but how about this allegation of foreign colonization tactics connected to Belt and Road?
Yeah, so as we have already knew about what happened about his operation, so yes, it's very close to the BRI operations because China viewed BRI as a very important strategy to expand China's influence globally. Now, Philippines, of course, is Southeast Asia, but China's true intention obviously it's relevant to a Sino-US strategic tit for tat.
Right.
Because Philippines for a long time has been allies of the United States. So, and also right there, there are 9 military bases there. Recently, United States have already put intermediate range typhoon missiles there. So that means that missiles could attack China, even Zhejiang provinces. So in that case, so that is why Chinese, if they were Chinese secret agents, number one information is how to get this kind of military-related intelligence. Then this BRI information is a secondary one.
Right, yes. And just on that, Patrick, if I can get your view on that as well. So the primary goal of any possible espionage, we talked about the military assets. What else do you think that they could be, what could be their objective?
If espionage activities
for the Philippines.
Correct, yeah, for the Philippines, then I would agree actually that they might be doing that at first. That would be their priority, to look into this with what the US,
bases?
Yeah, with what the US and its allies are doing, most especially military drills and other cooperation. Forms of cooperation related to this matter.
Right.
But this is not to say that because a lot of them are being, if I may, linked to espionage. A lot of Chinese. I would like to say that these people come to the Philippines mostly to venture in the business sector, to start businesses and not necessarily for espionage purposes.
Okay, there is a line of thinking, though, that once there is a weakness, so for example, Wang said that for Guo, it was her ID, it was the fact that her nationality is actually Chinese, but she is alleging that she is Filipino so that she could be, elected as a local mayor. And then this was a weakness that then the MSS could then exploit. But let's now move on to another suspected Chinese spy operating in the Philippines, and that is a former President Rodrigo Duterte's economic advisor, Michael Yang. How instrumental was Yang in terms of Duterte's relationship with Xi Jinping?
Yeah. When we talk about Michael Yang, it's very interesting because you already mentioned he was an advisor. And if you are an advisor, you get very close to the president. And I'm thinking that if you are that close to the president, then you will have the capacity to influence them, if I may, and maybe sway their, how do I say this, their policies closer to maybe your own agenda, if I may. And this is what we could allege in this case when we talk about Michael Yang.
Yeah, and so, Professor Liu, what are the, to be a spy, it's sort of covert. What evidence is there that what he did was covert?
I think not too much. Number one, this Andrew Yang, he was, according to my sources, he stayed there only 1 year as an economic advisor, not a long time, not the full term of the Duterte. So in that case, not too much influence. And we need to know that Duterte is a very subjective leader. That means that he has a very closed belief system. He only believes what he believes. So then in that case, his advisors can hardly really affect him in a big way. So he believed that he needs to improve relations with China because his original electorate, actually lots of Chinese there. He learned and grew up with them. So he has a lot of Chinese associates. So that is why when he became the president, he wants to improve relations with China. And he also said very specifically, he wants economic gain from China. When he arrived at Beijing in 2016, he said so. Another example is he said, why I don't want to have a relationship with the United States? Because no money. Chinese will offer our money, but not the United States. So all of this shows that he is kind of the, interest-driven leader. Right. He wants to gain economic assistance from China. When he returned to Philippines in 2016, he claimed he earned $26 billion from Chinese, economic assistance, including investment as well.
Right. The vast majority of that has not been fulfilled. Patrick?
That's a very interesting take. But if I may just weigh in, the young brothers, according to
Tony Young,
like there are 3 of them, the young brothers,
right.
And according to my sources, actually it's enough to flag because they've been in the Philippines for actually more than 20 years now. They first arrived in early 2000. That's in around 2004, they started acquiring fake birth certificates. And the way they were able to come to the Philippines and acquire these things is actually enough to flag them for some wrongdoing.
Right.
Just to add that in our conversation.
Okay, now let's turn to Australia. In Australia, 60 Minutes revealed exclusively the high-profile case of Chinese diplomat Chen Yongnin defecting from China to Australia. The Chinese ex-diplomat said there are around 1,000 spies and informers operating in Australia who have carried out state-sponsored kidnappings. Professor Liu, how do these Australian cases add to the picture that we already have? Following the cases of Guo and Yang in the Philippines and in the US, Linderson?
This is totally different cases because, Philippines cases, so far we just talked about, primarily I believe they are all informants. But Chen Yongling is different. He's someone from the Chinese embassy, all right? So in that case, he knew the operation very well. He might be a secret agent there. So that is why he can provide lots of the inside.
Yeah, but he was covertly gathering information on the Falun Gong, though, for the CCP.
Yeah, so that is why he was a secret agent, and then he converted. In that case, he could provide lots of the information about how China penetrated into Australia. In that case, so that is why. I believe this served as the first wave to disclose China's this kind of intelligence operation in Australia. And then, 2017, actually, already, Australia found out, yes, Chinese are heavily involved in this kind of spying or intelligence operations, even in their assembly and business sectors as well.
Right, that it was extensive.
So this is very, very important, very valuable source for West or outsiders to get to know China's, this kind of intelligence network operation.
Right, yeah. And Patrick?
Professor Liu mentioned earlier that governments do, espionage operations, they conduct this. It's an open secret.
Yeah.
But
so the Chinese operations are nothing different?
Yeah, I think it's nothing different, but it does not have any role in a civilized, free world, if I may. It's unethical. Espionage is unethical, if I may. And I'm hoping that by making these things explicit, by talking about this, like maybe through this program, we could encourage people to be a lot more discerning, if I may. And I hope that the case in Australia, although it sends a chilling message, or the fact that it sends a chilling message, makes people discern more, if I may, in the information or the people they are with, but not in a way that they should be alarmed, if I may, or not to be alarmist.
Obviously, governments would argue against that position. For example, it was human spies, human intelligence that alerted the US to the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. So there are instances when, you could argue that for national security reasons that they do this. Just very finally, Professor Liu, so 60 Minutes Australia, they had a former Australian spy who basically told the program that Canberra wishes these Chinese whistleblowers, there was a second one that came forward, also tried to defect, that these Chinese whistleblowers would simply go away because Canberra is trying to rebuild relations with its biggest trading partner, Australia. How does this contrast, do you think, to the Philippines?
It depends on domestic public opinion. It's very important. This is also relevant to who's in power. In Australia's case, we just mentioned about it was under the Liberal Party. They started to talk about espionage from China in Australia. So then when it comes to the Labour Party, Albanese's government has tried to focus on economic interest, I mean recruit interest, restore the economic interest. In the Philippines case...
Patrick, final words to you.
Yeah, we have different economic and political priorities with Australia. And I'm thinking that if the Philippines would respond, if these allegations were true, we would be more readily to be committed to uphold that right is might, if I may. And that tells us so much, reflects so much about what is happening right now in the relations between China and the Philippines.
Okay, we're going to have to end it there. Thank you so much, Liu Diohai and Patrick Bougarin, for joining Taiwan Talks today. If you liked our show, please search for us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching the show today. Stay safe and see you next time.
Taiwan Plus original series, Making Waves Beyond Taiwan. The Pursuit of a Cinematic Dream, Tsai Ming-liang, New York Festival's TV and Film Awards, Bronze Award. A documentary where Tsai reflects on his cinematic process and the future of his career. Road to Legacy, 57th Golden Bell Awards, Best Sound Design. A series that introduces 10 indie artists and bands and their road to musical stardom. More Film Festival approved Taiwan Plus originals. Bringing Taiwan to the world. Only on Taiwan Plus.